Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am incredibly excited you're joining us today because, wow, we are looking at a massive, seismic political shift. We're going to break down the inside story of a major defection involving the AAP and the BJP. Let's just dive right into this because this isn't some simple headline. No, it's a deeply complex narrative full of political maneuvering, high-stakes decisions, and shifting allegiances that is literally altering the balance of power as we speak.
So, the big question right off the bat. How exactly did this happen? I mean, on the surface, it seems totally impossible for a political party to just be completely oblivious while its own members are spirited away by a rival faction, right? It looks like a sudden, shocking event. But, as we analyze the source material, you quickly realize this demands a much deeper investigation. This definitely wasn't an overnight accident. The clues were absolutely there, if you knew where to look.
Actually, I want to pause on this number for just a second. 7. We are not talking about 1 or 2 dissatisfied members quietly slipping out the back door. We are talking about exactly 7 sitting Rajya Sabha members of parliament defecting all at once. The sheer magnitude of this exodus is staggering. This represents a massive block of political power and influence just shifting overnight. It completely changes the entire dynamic in the upper house of parliament.
Let's move into Section 1, Timeline and Crucial Clues. To understand how an operation of this scale actually gets pulled off, we have to look backwards. The story didn't start on the day the news broke. Actually, it began back on April 2nd. That's when Raghav Chadha was removed from his post as the deputy leader in the Rajya Sabha. That was the real trigger. Then fast forward to the day of the event. At 12:25 p.m., AAP's national convener, Arvind Kejriwal, tweeted about changing his residence. And finally, just 2 hours before the whole defection was made public, we see reports of frantic, unanswered phone calls from Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann. The warning signs were absolutely building up.
Let's zoom in on that 12:25 p.m. tweet for a minute, because this is a vital piece of the puzzle. The tweet announced that Arvind Kejriwal had shifted his residence to 95 Lodhi Estate. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, because until that exact moment, he was residing at 5 Firoz Shah Road. And who does that house belong to? Ashok Mittal, the very same Ashok Mittal who was among the MPs defecting to the BJP. It strongly suggests the AAP leadership had prior knowledge that their MPs were leaving, which prompted this sudden, hasty change of address just as the defection was being finalized.
And then we have the absolute scramble, just 2 hours prior to the news breaking. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann realized what was happening and desperately tried to do damage control. The source reports that Mann made frantic, repeated calls to MP Harbhajan Singh, who, remember, was actually originally brought into the party by Mann himself, but Harbhajan Singh was in Mumbai busy doing commentary for the IPL. He simply didn't answer the phone. And honestly, that silence was the final confirmation that the MPs were already gone.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Raghav Chadha's allegations.
This brings us to Raghav Chadha, easily one of the most high-profile figures in this entire defection. He wasn't just a regular member, he was a founding member of the party. And these are his exact words regarding his exit. He stated he is, quote, leaving with a lot of sadness, pain, and shame. That is highly emotionally charged language. He really emphasized his role as a founding member who helped establish the party in Delhi, Punjab, and basically across the country with total commitment. Using words like pain and shame, it really conveys the immense gravity of his decision to walk away from an organization he literally helped build from the ground up.
So the crucial point here is the core argument Chadha makes to justify his exit. He claims that the AAP, which, remember, was originally founded with this solemn oath to eradicate corruption and serve the country, is simply no longer that same party. According to Chadha, the organization has now been hijacked. He says it's deeply caught in the hands of corrupt and compromised individuals who are working entirely for personal gain, leaving true patriots with basically no choice but to leave.
This takes us to Section 3. The Aadmi Party's stance.
In any political earthquake like this, there are always two opposing narratives. On one hand, the defectors claim the party has lost its anti-corruption ideology, that it's compromised, and now just demands complete sycophancy. But, in stark contrast, the AAP's official counter-narrative firmly argues something else entirely. They said these MPs didn't leave voluntarily due to ideological differences, but rather they were intimidated and threatened by the central government and to joining the BJP. It's two completely opposing explanations for the exact same event.
And the AAP's reaction hasn't just been defensive, you guys. It has been a very aggressive counterattack. Just look at the language being used here. They are officially labeling these 7 individuals as traitors who've completely betrayed Punjab. The party's stance is that these MPs have committed an unforgivable act against the voters who elected them. They're stating definitively that the people of Punjab will simply never forgive them for switching sides.
Let's wrap up with Section 4, Political Fallout in Punjab.
A shift of this magnitude sends huge shockwaves through the entire regional landscape, and the opposition in Punjab has really seized this moment to amplify their existing grievances with the AAP's leadership choices. Specifically, Congress has criticized the AAP for appointing non-Punjabis like Sandeep Patek to the Rajya Sabha. They claim this caused a massive 50-point drop in the party's credibility the very day it happened. The opposition is basically arguing that AAP betrayed its core volunteers by passing them over to give upper house seats to outsiders and what they call commercial people.
This builds directly into the BJP's specific criticism of their rival. The BJP argues that this defection proves AAP has fundamentally transformed. They claim it is no longer an ideological party dedicated to societal service, but has instead become a highly individualistic party centered entirely around one person. According to this criticism, anyone with self-respect who genuinely wants to serve society just cannot survive in a party where, as they claim, demanding sycophancy has completely replaced evaluating actual work.
Which brings us to a really profound, overarching question. What actually happens to a political movement when its very own founding members publicly declare that the party is no longer what it used to be? When the original architects of an anti-corruption crusade walk away citing corruption and compromise, well, it leaves us wondering about the future landscape of Punjab politics and really the evolving nature of political ideology itself. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating source material in today's Explainer. Stay curious, and as always, keep asking the big questions.